Okay, so this is the inside sleeve of the jacket. What you got to do is just seam rip it. I mean, so many people have asked me on YouTube about this, and even in person. Oh, how do you poke the holes? Can I just leave the seam, the liner on? Don't leave the liner on. Let me tell you, just rip it. If you have a girlfriend or your mother, or you can sew, or you can hand stitch, rip the seam. Stop being so afraid about it, because if you don't rip the seam, there's no way you can poke all these holes and stick all of these screw heads through and use these little tools. It won't come out. So if you're afraid of even sewing, hand sewing, having somebody stitch this, I've cut this before last year and I sewed it with the machine and then I ripped it again. It's not a big deal. Literally just take it, fold it over. You can hand sew this all real, what? 15, 20 minutes it might take you to hand sew it. Maybe 5 minutes to do it on a machine if you're doing a real nice job. Anyway, so if you have questions about that, that's how you do it. So I've went ahead and put all the heads in. So these are all the screws. What you got to do with these, because so there's a screw head. Okay, they're real little, and they hold the spikes in. So with all of these, so the holes, you poke the hole with that awl on the top side. It's gonna make a little indentation. You can see very little indentation. What you do with this is you stick your hand through the sleeve and you poke. Kind of hard to do it with the camera and holding it one hand, but you literally put your hand in the sleeve to make it, and you make it so you have your hand wherever the hole is. See, like there's a bunch of holes here. You put your hand like that, and I use this screwdriver. It's Craftsman. So it's a Craftsman Phillips Zero, a number 0. It's a small little Craftsman Zero screwdriver. It works perfectly for these. Perfect. This is what you need. It not only can screw these in, but makes the hole exactly the size you need for the screw. Exact. So number 0, it's perfect. You can probably use any of them. Any brand. I just have this Craftsman. So basically what you do is you take your hand, you just go like this. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. So here's a hole. And that's it. And now the hole's pretty big. I can get my hand out of the sleeve one-handed. So there's a pretty good size hole now. And all you do is you take that screw head, use your other hand too, and you stick it through. I can't do it one-handed, but you get the idea. And they go in. So do all of that. So basically start to finish is you get your leather jacket seam rip, get it exposed so you can get your leather open like this in the back. Dot it all up, however design you want to do on your studs or your spikes. Dot it, poke it all through with the awl, flip it through, flip it over, so you have the backside now. Get the little screwdriver. You're going to have to ream them out some more because the holes won't be big enough. Trust me, you can get calluses on your thumbs and stuff trying to push it through. These little screws, they won't go through. You have to open up that hole even more with that screwdriver. Poke it through, you know, open it up a little bit, and then these will pop right in. Once you have that, flip the jacket back on the other side and put your spikes on. That's the fastest way to do it. If you're mass producing spikes like this, see all the screw heads? This is a real quick example of this. This is the fastest way to get it done. And a lot of times, I actually got some pretty bad blisters because you can screw these real tight. And if you're doing, I've already done 200 on the sleeve alone. That's it. And, you can use a screwdriver, screw it from the back side, hold the top here with one hand, screwdriver it from the back side. And you got all your screw heads. Use a screwdriver and screw it on. And make sure it's tight. You don't want it flopping around because they will fall off eventually. You're moving around and stuff. You throw it in the car, you're wearing it. You don't want all your spike heads to come off. The whole reason to have these holes is to cover it up with the spikes. But a lot of people have a problem with poking holes in a leather jacket. They're all worried about it. Listen, if you want spikes, that's the only way to do it. Don't glue them on. That looks stupid. They'll fall off. There's no way to do it besides this. If you're worried about wrecking your good leather jacket, get a fake leather jacket. Spike it up. What are you going to spend? $20? Go to Goodwill. Find one over there cheap. Thrift store. Find them online. $50 cheaper. Sometimes they go for $10, $20. Practice on one. This is the best way to do it. Trust me. Everybody who sees this jacket with the big death patch, they love it. They always ask questions. It's unique. This jacket is awesome. I love it. I can't wait to wear it with all these extra spikes on it this year. Totally worth it. Don't be afraid to take control of your jacket. If you want spikes, just do it. Stop being so afraid of it. Everybody keeps commenting, oh, I'm so afraid. Oh, what about this? Can I just get around that? No, this is the way to do it. I don't want to be blunt and sound like a jerk, but that's really the way to do it. It's the fastest, easiest way. You basically think of it as like an assembly line. Dot, poke it all, flip it inside out, ream it through, stick all your heads on like this, all your screws, and then put all your spikes on. That is the fastest way. Because if you try to do poke a hole, then put the screw head through, then screw it on to the next back and forth, it's going to take forever. This takes a long time as it is. This arm alone has taken over 5 hours. And I'm still on 2-3 hours worth. This arm alone has taken almost 20 hours of work. So between last year's 8, 9, 10 hour session and this is like about another 8 hours. This is it. I hope this helps people be creative. If you want that alternative, whatever, goth, heavy metal lifestyle, punk lifestyle, whatever. And it's not even a lifestyle. It's just, looks badass and cool. So, if you're into metal bands like I am or punk bands and you want spikes, just go ahead and do it. I mean, look how cool this is. I'll show you the outside of it real quick. Okay, so here's a bunch of the screws poking through. As you can see, I already added in that one spike. But this is the way you do it. Fast. This is the fastest way. It takes time. It's tedious. You have to put patience and time into it. I have to put the screws through here and ream them with the little screwdriver still on the opposite side. But, like these here on this section, it's double layered. So there's like two layers of leather here. It's a lot thicker. You have to take your time and poke through it. I have one screw head poking through. It's doable. Just, it takes a lot of time. If you have time, relax, get in a lounge chair and enjoy it. Like, listen to some music, watch a movie. It's gonna take you a long time. This whole arm just took like 5.5, 6 hours just to do all of these. And I basically did the entire sleeve except for the back side, which isn't a lot. It's probably another 2.5 hours. So that's it. I mean, It's gonna look great. I'll show you a finished product when it's done. That's from last year, of course. There's a lot of spikes. Yeah, be getting a lounge chair or a nice comfortable position because you're gonna be there a long time. Put a good movie on or two and music, whatever. Just go for it.